live again. This is too funny. Funny thing happened on my way to do today's video. Yes, I know it was about an hour ago I said, I will be a little late. I'll be like at 1:45, and I don't know what time it is now, but it's probably past 2:45. But it's a funny story because I came down to the office to do the video. I had my new camera ready to go, and I had everything set up, and I'm doing the video, and I kept thinking, something's wrong. Nobody's checked in. Usually some people are on watching, and well, come to find out, I did an entire half-hour video in a post-only to me mode, which after I was done, I decided I didn't like it anyway, so it was just a way to start it again. But here's something I want to tell you. This is very important. Today is the first day of our second week of our journey of Corona confinement and making it through metaphysics. And so remember when we started a week ago and I told you that it was not a good idea to start something on a waning moon as the moon was fading into a new moon, and that it was generally mean you would have problems and what do you call it, just interruptions and stuff like that. And hasn't that been the exact truth? Have we not had interruptions and problems and crazy things going on? I mean, let's look back at it. I tried the computer. It was fuzzy. It got, what do they call that, pixelated. So I said, okay, I gotta find another way. So then I went to my, I went to my phone, and the phone was great, but everything is backwards. Can you tell I'm on my phone again? We'll explain. And then I decided to try my Facebook Live, and I tried that, and even that was backward again. I was ready to pull out my hair, but my new camera came, and I was so excited. So I got the camera yesterday. You know, I sprayed the package with disinfectant, flipped it over, left it all outside, lest I touch anything that might contain any virus. Then I opened it, and I was very comfortable opening it because they said the virus wouldn't live for a certain amount of time on anything. You know, so I was good, opened it up, and looked at it. I tried to read the instructions. I wish I had them to read to you because they were like, but I tried to read them, and then it said that I needed to format the SD card to put in it. Okay, I format the card. So when I looked for the card, there was no card. I spent an hour looking for a card. And then I went online because I figured I'm going to complain about this, getting this camera without an SD card. So I go on to Amazon and I'm reading all this stuff. And guess what? It doesn't come with an SD card. Ha! Well, I'm smarter than that. So I went to my camera, because my camera's got an SD card. Well, my new camera, the video camera, will not take anything smaller, anything bigger than a 32 gigabyte, and my SD card in my camera was 64. Hello? I couldn't use it. But you all know me. I'm no quitter. So what did I do? I called my sister. Can you take the card out of your computer and out of your camera and see if it's less than 32 gigabyte? Well, sure enough, hers was 16. Yes, I can use it. So I went over to her house and I got the card. We traded them, and I came back and I popped it into the camera. Yay, success, it's working. So I brought it down to the office and I set it all up, and it's going. And so it's going, and my Facebook Live is going. And the reason I want to do Facebook Live when I do my video, even though you're seeing things backwards, the reason I do it is because I like to see your names there. As a matter of fact, please, if you get a chance, click the like button. Don't forget, when you see it on YouTube, it's got a subscribe button. Click that so you'll see when I post a new one. And do feel free to comment. I love seeing your comments, because when this is done, I don't even know who saw it because it doesn't show up on my camera and I can't see it from here. So I wanted to do it live. So I'm doing it, you know, and I'm thinking, nobody's joining me. Nobody's joining me. This is unusual. And you know, it kind of sucks your energy a little bit. But I said, I'm going to finish it, because I always finish what I start. Well, then I see the camera goes down. It stops working. Come to find out the battery died because I didn't charge it. I did look, and it looked like it was full. So that's something I have to question. So the camera went down. The video was posting for me alone. And I had to decide, what am I going to do now? Am I going to start over? Or am I going to use the video that wasn't working for me? And I said, no, I'm going to go online and do it live, because whoever comes to join me, you know what the Master said? Where two or more are gathered, there am I in their presence. So I'm so glad you're with me. But in everything in life, there is a lesson. Let's go back to what I said a week ago today. It's not a good idea to start anything on a waning moon. But today, as of last night, we went into a new moon. So anything that you were planning, if you're kind of thinking about starting something, now is the time. The moon will be waxing for 2 weeks until it becomes full, 14 days, until it becomes full, and then it's going to start to wane again. So if you wanted to start something, start it now. You know, even farmers, this is back when people were more in touch with the universe, they were in touch with nature. Farmers would always plant above the ground crops on a waxing moon, and below ground crops on a waning moon. There is more to what meets our eyes about life. And that's what metaphysics is really about. So there's more than meets the eye. Want to start something? This is the time. You know I'm an author. I write books, I write stories, I write all kinds of things. And so I would say to you, every time I say to someone, oh, I'm a writer, I'm an author, I've written books, they go, oh, I always wanted to write a book. Did you? Yeah, but I don't know how, I'm not a writer. And you know what I always tell them? A writer writes. So if you want to be a writer, start writing. It doesn't matter what you write. Start writing. Get an idea. What else have you got to do? Speaking of which, since we're a week down the road, starting our second week, I'd like to ask you to ask yourself in your heart and in your soul, what have you done in the past week that I might have suggested? It sure would be nice to know that you might have done something. Did you write a note about something I said and decide to look into it? Did you start a journal? Did you start a gratitude journal? With my gratitude journal, it's so good because it makes you really look at life, and the harder it is to find something to be grateful for, the more we know how much we have to be grateful for. Did you know that you are on my gratitude list? Did you know that? Because every one of you inspires me just by listening to what I have to say, just by considering the possibility something I say might be worth listening to. And to me, it warms my heart hoping you might have gotten one thing out of it. So, did you start your journal? Did you make a goal? Did you clean out your junk drawer? What's my everyday question? What are you wearing? I got dressed. Oh, and this is hideous. This is ridiculous. I forgot to tell myself. I told myself, but I forgot. I was supposed to take the sweatpants off. There's lovely little black pants under here. But it's kind of cold and rainy and miserable, so when I came down to the office, I had the sweatpants on, and oh well, life happens. I'm human. So of the things that I told you, clean the junk drawer, start a project, set a goal, did you? Because if you did, you're probably feeling better. I had another realization that I have neglected. I've been busy doing my other coping skills, and I neglected some of the things that I was working on that stopped abruptly when we went into this corona confinement. And one of those was learning Photoshop. I said, how could I let that go? I just put it and forgot all about it. So I got to get back to my Photoshop. And reminder, anybody that watches this, my goal, today's Wednesday, I've got today, tomorrow, and Friday till 4 o'clock in the afternoon to get my act together because I want to do a Zoom happy hour. Now I got one sign up so far. Hey, where two or more gathered, have a glass of wine, a cup of coffee, tea, whatever, and we're going to have a good old time. So I encourage you, you can private message me, you can make a comment here, just put in a comment. I want to come to happy hour, and I'll make sure I send you an invitation. And you can learn how to use Zoom as I learn it. We can learn it together, and that will open the doors to all kinds of things, including online family gatherings. It's nice to be able to do one-to-one FaceTime, I guess is what one calls it, or video chat or whatever. But you can actually, when you do it with Zoom, you could do a whole bunch of your family all together. Doesn't that sound exciting? Isn't that another wonderful way to reach out? I think it is. I think it's great. So let us move on. Again, please, if you like the videos, if they're helping at all, click like, subscribe if you see it on YouTube, and share. Please feel free to share. If I'm saying anything that helps you, chances are it could help somebody else, so please share. Okay, so we got the moon done. We've talked before about, thinking positively and the importance of thinking positively and not thinking negatively. At the same time, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do for an unknown period of time of confinement. It's like being in a tunnel. Now, we may know there's light at the end of the tunnel, but we can't see it yet. But we have to know it's there. So, for our rest of our journey in the tunnel, in order to make it to the other end, we got to come out of it alive. We got to come out of it healthy. We got to come out of it strong. So what are we doing to prepare for this time? If we're thinking all kinds of negative, terrible things, we are not preparing ourselves for the best. One of the most powerful things we have, and something that can change in the blink of an eye, is our thought process. Remember, we were talking about the links, the chains. One thought leads to another, to another. It can lead you down into the dark, or it can lead you up into the light. I invite you to keep your thought chain moving in positive directions. Now, there's various forms of thinking. Some are good, some are not so good. One of the things Unity practices is called positive thinking. We always look for the good, we look for the positive, we look for the light, and with our power of imagination, we can envision right outcomes. But we don't know how long we're going to be in this tunnel. So we can't put a day on it. We can't put a time on it. We have to be okay that we don't know how far we have to go. So we follow our procedures of the way we behave and the way we prepare to go on. You know, we always want to expect the best, okay? Don't you want to expect the best? Envision this. Walking out of the house, getting in the car, going to the store, going to a family gathering, getting hugged by everyone in the room, going to church, getting blessed, getting excited, holding hands, singing songs. That's where we want to put our visualization. We accept the best, and we prepare for the worst. So once we're prepared, it doesn't matter. So do your due diligence in whatever you have to do to stay in your quarantine state. Do what you have to do as you envision the best. Because just to be airy-fairy and say, this is going to be over in no time, it's no problem, it's going to be done, we're going to be in church on Easter, we're going to be, what happens is, if that's the only thing you're thinking about, if you're putting a condition on it, you possibly can disappoint yourself. Because we may know what our plan is, but we don't know what God's plan is. We don't know what the divine outcome is going to be. It's coming, but we don't know how long it's going to take. So expect the best, but don't put conditions on it. Know that it will happen when it happens, and that's what will keep us up. If we know what is going to happen, and I absolutely know that. We all know that without a doubt. Good Lord, we've been on the planet for how long? Thousands of years, and more years than we can even imagine. And we're still here. So imagine, visualize the best, expect the best, anticipate the best as we continue to prepare for the worst, for it going on for longer than we want. It is not our job to try to control God. The only one we are supposed to be controlling is ourselves and the way we live. I wanted to share something with you today. This is let me tell you, it's an old Unity book. It's called Happiness Now, and it's by a writer that I love. Her name is Mary Catherine McDougall. Hang on, I got to find the thing. I just read it. That's not it. Oh, Lord, don't tell me I'm not going to be able to find it. I folded the page special so I'd know which page it was. This is all about being happy. What better time is there to be happy? Oh, that's good. Okay, here it is. Okay. Yeah. All right, so one of the things that we tend to do when we are under challenge is go for the comfort food, okay? All right, so guess what I have for breakfast today? Potato pancakes. Lord, I love potato pancakes. Now, I had to use the discipline to have some and to save some. You can't have them all at once. You can't gorge yourself. You have to learn discipline. So this is from the book Happiness Now by Mary Catherine McDougall. And this is, let me see how old this is, because this is like old. It's not as old, I hate to say it, it's not older than me, I don't think, but it's old. Okay, let's see. 1971. That's old. But she says, it was easy for me to understand that nobody would enjoy being stuffed. I know my body doesn't like carrying around the extra weight and must be most uncomfortable having its skin stretched. She studied more about foods and tried to eat foods that were good for her and harmonious together and gave the body the least problems in digestion. That's a big one. This isn't just about weight. It's about digestion, comfort, nutrition. Okay. For the first time, she found that she could drink as much water as she was told to. Are you drinking enough water? Am I drinking enough water? I know I got to drink more water. I'm more like a tea and juice and coffee person, and I got to drink more water. Okay. It was easy because she thought each glass was making her body happier. You want to have a happy body, don't you? I want to have a happy body. This is one way she could help the body function effectively and more easily. It wasn't a chore to exercise either when she knew that this too would do good things for her body. Do you know what else a body loves? It loves to be loved. It loves to be told, you are cute. It loves to be told, thank you for serving me so well. It loves to be told, let's go for a walk. I went for a walk today around the camp. So after I had my potato pancakes, I worked out. I did my jazzercise. Those who belong to, if you belong to jazzercise and you're not aware of it, our jazzercise here in Colchester, Connecticut has gotten us jazzercise on demand for the next 60 days as a part of our membership. So that was real exciting. So this morning I ate my potato pancakes. I cleaned everything up. I washed all the dishes. We don't want any dishes in the sink. That was that part of expect the best and prepare for the worst. I have no intention of getting this thing. But as plan B, should that occur, I don't want to leave any dishes in the sink. I know, I'm just saying. So, I ate my potato pancakes, I put away the dishes, washed them, put them away, and then I did my jazzercise, and then I went for a walk around the campground. And it was so beautiful because as I walked around, I looked and there were little violets coming up, some daffodils, there were piles of leaves and brush and you know, stuff from the winter, and shooting up from that was a new life. That was so exciting. I took pictures of it because we don't want to just feed our body, we want to feed our soul, to have a feast of all the beauty and the nature that is there. We want to love our body, we want to love our planet. Okay, expect the best while you be prepared for the worst. I've heard a few things lately. It's funny because you hear them all of a sudden in one day, and that was talking about the fact that the coronavirus is invisible. So, you know, you don't think you can get it. Well, I'm safe here. Well, I'm safe there. Well, that's another expect the best, prepare for the worst. Spray your disinfectant, wash your hands, say the Lord's Prayer while you're washing your hands, or something else that's positive. You don't have to just sing happy birthday. I listened to Trevor Noah, who I don't really know who he is. I go and I look up some YouTube videos when there's nothing I really find valuable to watch. And he said, this is funny, stop imagining that the coronavirus is invisible, because it's not. It's really visible. You know, you might need a microscope, but it's really visible. He says, imagine that the coronavirus was zombies. So if you were ready to go out the door and you heard there's 475 zombies out there, you'd go back in the house and close the door. Chances are you wouldn't go out there and go, 475 zombies, that's okay. I will chase them. I will do whatever. What if we thought of it as visible? On the other hand, just because it's not visible to the naked eye doesn't mean it's not there. And I thought about, in our own lives, things that we want to change may not be a part of our current awareness. Like let's say a bad habit. If we have a bad habit, we may not be aware of it, but chances are we've been told about it before. You know, there's some things other people may think it's a bad habit of yours, and some things that actually may be, you know? And we can't change what we don't acknowledge. So in this time when we are confined, what if we were to spend some time, you know, looking at what may I change? What is it about me that could make me even better, stronger? It's not pointing fingers. What about spending habits? What about, you know, the different things? If you think you can't be better, I invite you to ask yourself, what you're doing on the planet, because you should have ascended by now if you were all that perfect. I mean, isn't that what they say? When we have no cause to be here, when we've done it all, off we go. So I want to talk a little bit about the economy. That's something a lot of us could do better at. And I'm going to tell you something you don't want to hear, okay? So, first of all, I want you to consider the possibility I'm not talking to you. This does not apply to everyone, okay? Okay. So because I'm telling you it does not apply to everyone, doesn't mean it absolutely doesn't apply to you. That is in you. You can determine whether this applies to you or not, okay? And it may actually not apply to you. We'll talk about that later. That's up to you, again, to determine. All right. So we keep getting told, how many times have you heard the words, the economy's doing great? We have a better economy than we ever have had in all our lives. So the question to me is, if the economy is doing so well, why are we in a panic about what might last 3 or 4 months? Now, what made me think of that was every one of us, if you haven't been told this by your parents or your teachers or somebody else, I would be in absolute shock. Just about everybody in the world has been told we need to have 6 months of living expenses set aside, and they say for a rainy day. In Unity, we say we set it aside for an opportunity fund, so when something comes up, we'll be good to go. But think about this. First of all, if each one of us had followed the advice of our parents, of our teachers, we would have 6 months of living expenses set aside. We could take a deep breath, relax, and draw on that. We might even tighten our belt a little bit to be sure it lasts. However, 80%, it said on the news the other day, 80% of Americans they're living paycheck to paycheck. And sometimes, first of all, there are people that is absolutely true for. And I accept that, and this is not for them. This is for those of us who could have done better but didn't. And when I say that, I put myself there, okay? I have taken good charge over my available funds. I am very frugal. I spend on what really, really is meaningful to me, but I am frugal, so I have it to spend when it's meaningful to me. But for many years, I'll be brutally honest with you. I was over 40 when I would not pay my bills on time. And I kept lying to myself and telling myself I didn't have the money. If I had the money now that I piddled away, you piddle it away, you don't know where it goes. If I had that money now, I wouldn't have a thought about anything in the financial future. Now that it's tax time, most of us are being called upon to look at our last year's spending. What a wonderful opportunity to ask yourself, what have I piddled away? You know, I'm not trying to say we shouldn't have things and enjoy our lives and enjoy our money. I am saying, and this may or may not apply to you. And if you get it that it applies to you, that doesn't make you bad or evil. It just gives you an area where you can grow, okay? It's not meant to be judgmental. It's being, are we getting this lesson? Because this is a lesson to us. if our country had and that's not that's not party thing, it's not anything, it's just about the way that we all do finances. That includes us as well as the government. What if the government had this fund, slush fund, didn't have to take it from anywhere, it was set for an emergency fund, an opportunity fund. What if you had that? What if you had, and some of you may, that's another thing. But if you don't, and you could have, all you need to do is learn the lesson, and when this is over, start over on the right foot. It may take some trimming. It may take going out to dinner less. It may take looking at, and I have to tell you, I had a very happy childhood. We did not have a lot of stuff because my father was very frugal. I think he did better than we thought he did because he was very frugal. When we would go to ask my father for money, we would get something along with the money, if we actually got the money, and what we got would be the lecture. You know about money not going on trees, and then you really need this, but whatever we really needed, we had. So it's not that they wouldn't provide, but my father was very frugal, and I'm a little frugal too, so maybe I got it from him, maybe I didn't. But we want to be good stewards of the abundance we have. If you are one of those people that, and by the way, I just want to make sure I'm absolutely clear, over the years and finding my unity philosophy and everything, I learned a lot about how to take care of money and how to respect money and how to be prosperous. And because of that, even though I have a smaller little pocketbook than some people have, I enjoy sharing what I've got. I truly do. They say, don't give till it hurts. Give till it feels good. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to give till it feels good. I want you to look. Oh, we were back to my childhood. I'm sorry. I jumped the track. I do that a lot. Back to my childhood. When I was a little girl, we had one TV. We had one telephone. It had a cord. You're not going anywhere. And when I lived at my grandmother's for a while, when we lived in the apartment below my grandparents, we had a party line phone. You pick it up, and you got to wait for them to stop talking so that you can make the call you want. So, but we were happy, okay? It's nice to have a lot of stuff, but we don't need a lot of stuff to be happy. So take this opportunity, when you haven't got much else to do anyway, you probably won't be spending a lot, look at as you're doing your taxes, look at what you did with your money last year and ask, is there some way? You don't have to suffer to make an adjustment here and an adjustment there. And you're going to find that every adjustment you make here or there blesses you in another way. It's a good thing. Oh my gosh. I have so many things that we just can't get to these today. I'm going to take a quick look to see if there's something I absolutely need. I'll wait that for tomorrow. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you last is, first of all, I don't think we reviewed what we were, yeah, I think we did. Did you start your journal? Do you do a gratitude journal? And stuff like that. With the journal, I'm going to encourage you again, please, if you got a notebook, start a journal. We are making history right now. We're making history as Americans. We're making history as a family. We're making history as a world. And you're making your own history. Take the word history. His story. Her story. Your story. If you chronicle what goes on between now and the time this is behind us, that chronicle that you are writing will become a treasure. And a reminder to all of you who claim that you want to be writers, I'm calling you on it. You know what a writer does? A writer writes. So if you want to be a writer, start writing. Write in your computer, write in a notebook, go out and write in the sand, write something. We're all going through a lot of anxiety, and I learned one of the best lessons about anxiety that I ever had from Star Trek. I'm a minor Trekkie. I'm not like a mega have everything tricorder, although we do have everything now. You know, it's like back in the 40s and 50s, Dick Tracy had a watch, and the watch had a camera, and it was a phone, and he could talk into it, and guess what? A lot of people have them today. Not me, but a lot of people. So what I learned about anxiety from Star Trek, though, was one day Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock were chasing some bad guys. And they chased them and chased them and chased them, and all of a sudden, bang, they bounced against something. And there was nothing there. And you said, what do we bounce against? Well, come to find out, it was an anxiety screen. And what they had to do was reach up, unhook the anxiety screen, and bring it down and drop it. Each one of us, this works, okay? Listen to me. This works. In all of our lives, when we run into anxiety, we have to take down our anxiety screen. This is a visualization. Let's say you're anxious about having a conversation with one of your kids or your parents or your husband or a friend, and you're really anxious about it, or you're anxious about writing your bills, or whatever you're anxious about. Envision yourself, envision this invisible screen in front of you and reaching up and taking it down. The anxiety's gone. You walk through it and you do that which is yours to do. This works. I challenge you to try it because it works. Okay, I'm going to let you go for the day. As you can see, we have plenty to talk about tomorrow. I want to show you how smart I was, that I know this is backwards because it's not on the camera, it's still on my phone, but I made the words backwards on our 4 quadrants of consciousness so you can see sensing, intuitive, emotion, and thought. More on that as we move along. Enjoy your metaphysical adventure. And I thank you for those of you who popped in to watch. Don't forget, click like, click subscribe when I post it on YouTube, and do comment. Friday at 4 o'clock in my place on Zoom, we're going to have happy hour. I'm ready for it. Will you be ready for it? I sure hope it works. And we'll all learn how to use Zoom together. So if you want to be at happy hour on Thursday, I've got to check one other thing with my camera because it's been funky in my computer. I may have to find a new plan. We'll see. God's in charge. Okay, have a blessed day, and I hope we see you tomorrow. Word for the day, renew. And it says, do not be conformed to this world, but be ye renewed. Be you transformed by the renewal of your mind. Be transformed from a wobbling little bowl of Jell-O to a great, strong, beautiful person that you are. God bless you. Good day. See you tomorrow.